Welcome back, everybody. Let's go over Harbours' abilities today. We're going to start off with the wall. This is going to be pretty quick. So with his wall, he fires out this orb. You can see it creates that line on the ground, and the wall will follow that line depending on where you aim the orb. Now, that being said, if you go under a surface, like you can see I did there, it will go below that surface. But if I throw the orb and put it over, you can see it goes on top of the surface. So if you want to get this on top of heaven locations, you're going to want to aim high. Don't undershoot because you're just not going to be able to cover it. This does go through walls, as you can see. It has no problem going through walls. It can do that as many times as it wants. I even managed to go over the wall here despite only being above it on that side. So do not be afraid with sending this through walls. It will indeed cover. And it's actually incredibly good for covering multiple lines of sight with just one wall. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. Alright, and here's a comparison of the three wall abilities in the game, side by side. I did not time them to start at the same time, but it's pretty obvious which ones are longer, which ones go shorter. And you can see I show the different lengths of the walls. So Phoenix, obviously, the smallest, it doesn't last as long, all that kind of stuff. Vipers goes just a little bit further than Harbours. As you can see, Vipers ends right about the little farther than the middle of the archway. Harbours ends before the archway even begins. So Viper's got a little bit more on her end. So Harbours' wall may not go as far or last as long as Viper's, but it does have the ability to curve, and as I showed you earlier, it can go through as many walls as you want. You can get it above high ground, below high ground. You have a lot of control over it, so it makes it better in that way. Now moving on to the C ability, this is the tidal wave. You press that, it moves forward. You can hit C at any time again to stop it. This is fantastic for automatically giving yourself peeker's advantage. So you're going to want to go ahead and use this, especially on defense. It's going to be really good for when you know someone's coming. You can send it, it'll go through walls, you don't have to worry about that. And you're going to see the enemy start to come through with the barrel of their gun before they see you, and you're going to have the advantage there. So definitely use that wall aggressively. You're going to get the advantage at any point that you might use that. So as long as you're not peeking predictively, you're good to go. Now, this does have a maximum range. As you can see here, it'll stop on its own. I'm not going to push the C key. And there is a minimum range as well, so if I just spam C, it stops about there. Now, moving on to his smoke, his orb ability. It's a big bubble, and it blocks vision, but not only that, but it also blocks bullets. Up to, I believe it's 13 Vandal shots. I won't count here, I've counted before, it's 13. And then when the shield breaks, that's that yellow glowing portion, it'll go down, but the blue smoke lasts for just a little bit longer. And that's really good for a reason I'll show you guys later. Alright, and now as a comparison of how long the smoke lasts, so you can see here in the background I've got Brimstone, Astra, Omen, even though I was standing a little too close, and the Harbor down at the bottom right. Now, as you can see here, these three on the right and the bottom all last pretty much the same amount of time. It's roughly 15 seconds. When the Harbor one breaks, it does get that extra couple seconds of just the blue ball. And then the Brimstone one lasts for, I believe it's 30 seconds or something like that, but it lasts a very long time. Now, as you can see here, you can also get a lot of distance on your orb. It's a thrown item, much like a Molly or like Viper Smoke. It has similar trajectory, but not identical, so you're going to have to relearn your lineups if you're a Viper main. And like I said here, it can give you that extra second once it goes down. Let's show you that again. Once the shield goes down, it's a very visible and audible sound cue. And you have a chance to get off spike and move into a position where you won't be expected to be standing with gun out, ready to shoot back. So do not be afraid to use this. It is super, super useful. And it gives you that little bit of advantage over your enemies, especially on defusing and planting spikes. Now for Harbour's ultimate ability, I should let you all know this goes at a set distance away from you. So there is no way to make it go spawn further or spawn closer to you. It'll just always spawn about that far away. And now it does slowly move away from you as well. But I will show you what this does to the enemies in just a moment. Now you will see here, if I cast it right on my feet, again, it only spawns out here, so you do not have that much control over it. It spawns a certain distance away. Now going over to the robots here, let me just grab my gun, hit the practice button, and we'll come over here and set this, oh, that's the wrong one, and we'll set this down right there. Now on every enemy, it'll spawn the circle, which will do a little concuss, and it gives these little dangly bits in the air. These are super useful if, say they're hiding in a Viper ult. You're going to see those little dangly bits in the sky, and you can just kind of blind shoot on them, knowing that the enemies are going to be in that general vicinity. Now, like I said, it does concuss. It can also concuss yourself, so be careful of that. Be very careful that you don't get your teammates as well. That being said, it will not spawn circles on yourself or your teammates. It will just spawn circles on the enemies, and you can happen to get hit by them if you run into the circles. So be careful with that, and that's all for Harbor. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button down below. If you didn't, let me know how I can do better in the comments. Without further ado, have a lovely rest of your day, evening, morning, afternoon, and night. Bye-bye.